On part two. Now, I've been working on this what if for a little while, and basically, yeah, I've worked on a little bit of the plot for part two, part three, and part four, and a little bit more beyond that with the help of one of my friends. But we're gonna be diving on right into this part two, this fan fiction some of you guys very much like. Now, let's begin. Let's hit it! Now, we started the story off last time we left off, as if you don't know what happened last episode, go watch it. I ain't finna say it, just go watch it. It's only a 52-minute long video. Go watch it. You guys voted for a longer video, so it ain't my fault if you don't want to listen to the whole thing. So let's just dive right into this fanfiction. Last time I left off, Deku would have gone back to his base. That's all I'm gonna say for part one. Now Deku would have woken up, as Deku would have not been really sleeping, but Ultron would have been in control. Ultron doing a little bit of reconnaissance on different baselines and different areas, different crimes, and pretty much problems that are happening in society and how humanity is so corrupt, even more now so before people had superpowers or before people of normal status, everybody in the world had powers. As Deku would have told him that it wasn't really the big deal, as he would have said, yes, it is. As the world, hero society, everything is corrupt. We have to break down the hero society. We gotta break it down bit by bit, block by block. Take down big organization, crimes, everything. Humanity is so wronged and so corrupt that it needs to be snuffed out. But you say it yourself, humanity has its perks. Humanity has, well, people that, well, could be needed saving. When I was in my prime, when I was first made, the first couple days, I came across two mutants that were very much gifted and that somehow deserved staying alive after my big incursion on Earth that I was trying to do. Pietro and Wanda Maximoff. As Deku would have been confused, saying, well, I've heard about them in the books, in the pictures. He would have said, well, you have more in common with them than you know. But nonetheless, I'll tell you that for another day. Deku being kind of confused. But we start our story with this whole thing that's going on. Deku saying, what do you mean story? I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's been going on in society. First off, one of the more bigger, higher status characters in the hero society, All Might, has been bringing up a lot of backlash, and someone has posted a video of his fight with a certain black suited figure. Deku being kind of confused on this figure, saying, who is he? Ultron saying, he's some sort of new quirk user. My database, running all the way back to the first opening to quirks, the joint combine or combination of inhuman genes and mutant genes making quirks in today's society, we came to conclusion that, well, humanity became really bad, and the first couple of humans that started to exhibit these mutations, these evolved versions of inhuman and mutations, making quirks in today's society, it more or less was very different. But we're not going to say much about that. But it goes by the name One for All. But we got to talk about something completely different, Izuku. Sorry, I'm still trying to think about what happened on the news today. They could be kind of confused saying, what do you mean on the news? Today, Aizawa Midoriya, not Aizawa, sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm a super smart computer. How am I getting confused by simple names? They're all primitive anyways. But, well, Aizawa was caught almost beaten halfway to death this morning by a hooded figure. No one knows his name. No one knows where he come from or what his quirk even is. But it seems like he teleported out of the camera frame before it could even be seen. And the dashboard cams and everything I was able to hack myself into Didn't show much footage of his face or his outfit or his quirks at all. He was just disappeared from society, from the grid. Couldn't find him anywhere on the face of the earth through any technology or anything like that. He was off the books. He just disappeared. Deku was saying maybe he's Asgardian, maybe he went to Asgard, or maybe he's some sort of magic user like Doctor Strange. As Deku would have been stopped by Ultron. Ultron saying yes, magic is very much prominent in this world alongside quirks. But there was no traces of magic with the scanners I've, placed around Japan when you were asleep in our body. As Deku said, what? You went around Japan with me out of commission? Ultron saying yes, I know this body more, and I've been using it for longer than you. Now it's a little bit different because it's housing some sort of organic life being, aka your leftovers from when you almost died. But nonetheless, our first deal of business today is Izuku Midoriya. We have to, as Deku has said, I don't go by that name no more. Deku being told by Ultron that I know you don't go by that name no more. Family, you're legally dead in the books now. But I want to tell you this straight up. You to me, me to you. I need to pay a visit to a certain villain that's still alive in Iron Heights. Him saying, or Deku saying, so what are we waiting for? Let's go. As Ultron and Deku would have made their way to a nearby jet, as they would have been on their way down there, as they would have made reservations to get down there under a certain name and posing as a FBI agent, as they would have pulled a whole, Sam and Dean, Winchester type move, just playing a different character, playing somebody that they aren't, just sneaking to a secret facility or area they aren't supposed to be in for evidence or information they need. As Deku would have walked up in there, as Ultron told him, and letting Deku take the body for a run, as Ultron would have told him to be calm and collected and smooth. Deku saying, I got this. Deku walking into the visiting room, as he would have seen that it was some sort of old hero from the golden age of the Avengers. It was a newer villain that wasn't really in the books, but he was a hero in the golden age, very old and past his prime now. But he was incredibly smart, intelligent, and very well fixed. I'm not going to say any names, but he was a very, very intelligent, and went against the Avengers more than once, and almost won a few times. As he would be saying that, why are you here to visit me? And I know who you are. As his eyes would glowing a little bit of a shining purple, as he would have told him that he knows who he is. He knows who you are and what is inside you. As Deku was confused, saying, what do you mean? Him saying, I can see through your little hologram. They can't hear us right now. They don't really think I pose any threat now, since I'm past my prime and I only have a few years left to live. I'm pretty old here, son. I'm pretty down on my luck. Deku saying, I'm not your son, and I'm not anyone's son. But anyways, tell me what my friend needs to know. As Ultron would have taken up the wheel, as he would have somehow found a way to shut off Deku's sight and line of hearing. Deku being confused on what the hell happened, but him being brought back online about 20 to 30 minutes later. As Ultron would have told him that I needed to talk alone to my friend, as Deku would have left, as he would have heard screaming, as they would have looked back, as he would have seen some guard covered in blood, and the man would have been dead. Deku being confused on what the hell happened, as Ultron said, keep on moving and pushing it. Deku walking faster and faster and eventually getting on his jet and leaving without any suspicion. Ultron telling him that it was something that he needed to talk to him about, and something of a plan he told him about that he couldn't have anyone else know, even you, Izuku. He told me about a plan to break down Hero Society bit by bit and make the world better, make the Hero Society more cleaner and pure, and also solve multiple problems that are happening around the earth or happening around the world with the same intuition, the same type of program Tony Stark wanted to do. He wanted to put a suit of armor around the world, and that's what I'm going to do. As Deku tells Well, Ultron, the suit around our armor, the suit around the world, wasn't that the one that made you? Wasn't that the one that started your creation? Ultra's saying yes, it was. It was the one that started my creation and my birth and my conception of me becoming Ultron, this robot, the Ultron, the biggest mistake of Hero Society. But with this new chance I have with the partnership view, now I can truly embrace what I wanted to do. And what I want to do is, well, I want to pursue the specific plan that could save humanity in whole. If it's robots around the earth, around the world, with morals of humans, of the best, that can sympathize with humans and make the right decision, not even based off of if you're innocent or guilty, based off of if you're a good person or not, or if you truly deserve to be eliminated or put into custody. The system, this new way, this new shape and form, it will be pushed and driven to a whole new extent. It will save humanity in a whole. But our first phase of this plan is making our robots, making a certain type of androids or individuals that could push this plan into motion. As we get switched about a couple weeks later and a couple months later, as we were seeing that Deku and Ultron would have actually made arrangements, plans, and would have been boosting up their, company, Ultron Corp, and a bunch of other stuff, making investments, making stock, stock payments and stuff like that, putting in a lot of money, resources, and doing a lot of deals with different big corporations, even coming across and making hero gear for multiple other heroes, starring their Ultron or their company for a lot of different items and technology. Eventually, we've seen that their items of them being a big technology type, facility, kind of like Tony Stark or Stark Industries, not being as big as them, but being big enough to be second to third place to them. As we were seeing that, well, Deku would have posted a huge expo on his biggest plan, as he's made multiple other breakthrough achievements, like certain type of individuals that can't really control their quirks, a ban or some sort of dampener that can let them use their quirks freely without, burning or hurting or breaking their bodies. Something that Izuku Midoriya, if he had one for all, could use and he can use 1% or even more percentage, like 50, 100% of one for all. But we would see that Deku would have pushed himself farther, as he would have tried to make this expo, and he would have, showed the world his next big plan: androids, robots. These androids slash robots would have been a new opening achievement in the world, as Deku would have walked across the stage, him telling everybody that this is the day that Hero Society will be brought a new reign. As we all know, heroes are everywhere nowadays. Even before, like the Avengers, the X-Men, the Inhumans, the Defenders, and even, let's say, the Waterboard Avengers, or whatever they call themselves. Immortal Man, Flat Man, Paper Man. People like those, run-of-the-mill heroes, they still are in society nowadays. But as I want to tell you guys all this, Hero Society is corrupt in so many ways, as you guys don't even want to hear it. But I want to tell you the truth. Science is the biggest next thing in humanity. We have greatly expanded on our technology and our vast range of intelligence across the multiple years of our existence. The Avengers and, Tony Stark helped with that. Individual. Oh my God, bro! Sorry, guys. I messed up. I messed up. Ingenuity. It's ingenuity. As we jump back in the story, the ingenuity, as well. Deku would go on about a whole rampage, not rampage, but a whole speech about how everything's going wrong in society, but also to the fact that technology is the next big thing that can help society the most. Technology that can help humanity make the world a better place, truly save humanity. As Deku would have, well, opened up his robot, a prototype robot. I'm going to put a picture up right here. A prototype robot that could shape the way and pave the way for new heroes. Listen, see this. A world where robots with actual consciousness and a soul that can perceive human emotions and make the right calls, like actual sympathetic calls, that could be like a real human, a police officer with not as much not as much corruptness and just straight up disgustingness that a normal cop would have. Like the, well, multiple cops you see on the internet that have wrongly imprisoned and arrested certain individuals of different races, sexualities, and different, well, looks in different areas of where they come from. But over all of this, after all of this, imagine a robot with emotion, an android with emotion that can make the right calls no matter what race, sexuality, or place you come from, or even species. You will be treated the exact same as anybody else without a doubt, because they don't need to make biased choices. They will make the right choice based off sympathetic and human emotion, based off of love and compassion, rage, and anger. But rage and anger will be mainly a really less big part of their emotional spectrum. They'll first be teamed up with a real life hero and learn their morals, learn how they walk around, and they will only be teamed up with the best of the best, like All Might, Endeavor, Carmel Woods, and multiple other heroes that are, well, big and actually have good morals and have a good soul, and that can really truly show and actually give them the motivation to save humanity. Show them that humanity can be saved, and that bias, no matter what race, sexuality, or species you are, or gender, you will be treated the exact same. A world where it is true equality in the law and hero society. Imagine that. Imagine peace in the law. Nobody will be putting their life down on the line. No one will be dying on the streets. Heroes are amazing. Like the Avengers, the X-Men, everything. It's truly amazing. But imagine where no one needs to die. No one needs to go through suffering, pain, anger, or anguish like Spider-Man, Ultron, like Spider-Man, the Avengers, the X-Men, Wolverine. All of them have to go through suffering to become heroes. Lose so many people. But imagine a world where heroes don't need to die. Where heroes can truly stay in bed, have their life, and the world will be perfect. Or somewhere close to perfect. The world can never be perfect, as he would have made the crowd laugh a little bit. But a reporter, well, somebody that was related to Mary Jane of all people, like a cousin of sorts, would have said, "I work for the Daily Bugle," as the Daily Bugle, as not the Daily Bugle. That's DC. The fuck am I talking about? That's DC. I don't remember which report, which James Jones Jameson, like where he works. I don't remember where he works, but or where Tony or where Peter or MJ work at the photography. I don't remember exactly, but it's not the Daily Bugle. That's Superman. I'm getting off track. That's Superman. But what would happen is, well, Deku would have said, "What is your question, ma'am?" She would have said, "So, you're thinking about replacing heroes in general." As he would have said, somewhat like that. But giving heroes that are retiring the comfort that their role will be filled by someone that won't die, like someone's grandchild won't be in the fire, the cross shots of Hero Society. It will never be like that. But the same thing is, I don't want to completely make heroes not a thing. Heroes are a big stepping stone of society to this day. Golden Age, the Avengers, the first Captain America, we all know the story. The first Captain America was African American. It's been a big years. Society has shown and has given the proof to say that the first Captain America was black. He was experimented on by America. America, Japan, everywhere in the world is completely corrupt. But imagine a world where heroes and androids that can check heroes and make them not make biased decisions or choices, that can truly treat every other and everybody completely and utterly the same, true and utter, doubt, without a doubt, equality. Imagine that. True equality, no matter what. As they would have said, it's very interesting, but you're talking about replacing heroes in a whole in the next 20, 30 years with these androids. Deku saying, no, I still want androids to be a part of Hero Society, but not completely control it. I first want to start off in a small part of Japan and pit these androids around the world. 4 or 5 of them in one country at a time. Maybe even 10 if it gets enough, sponsorships. But my plan is to make true equality and to save lives of millions of hundreds of thousands of people. This android could help hundreds of people. But first, every time, it will have to learn from a human being, a true hero. So, we will still need heroes. Heroes will not be truly replaced by these androids. Heroes will still be a thing, but you would not have to become a hero. It would be a choice. It will be a lifestyle, as it already is, but it will even be more of a choice. Since now, in society, these will be the new police officers. They will truly follow the law in every shape, form, and way. True heroes. True police officer heroes, everything. As they would have been kind of, off guard, but people having some bias against it, other people thinking it was a good idea. As Deku would have made a pretty good speech. As the reporter would have asked another question saying, what did these robots turn out to, I guess, get a consciousness of themselves? They don't follow the same rules as you intended them to have, as they go on a rampage and go against their own morals and make their own morals against their hero they're training with, and make their own morals and become racist themselves or biased or sexist or just anything. Deku's scratching his head saying, well, that's impossible. They are wired and absolutely to the core, wire by wire, designed to only learn from a hero and learn their morals and modify it if necessary if their morals come off as racist, sexual, or even as, cruel and unusual as sexist, racist, or even a lot of other things. But I can't say that on live television. But yes, androids, these androids will have the capability to modify the morals they learn from their heroes that they're trained with, to make them better, smarter, stronger. Just one of them would have asked another question. But we're going to get off here. A lot more questions will be asked. But we're going to switch over to the next couple weeks. They're getting a lot of backlash from this, but us getting switched to another story, away from Deku's story, to, AI Island, to Melissa Shield, aka Melissa Shield being, this universe's version of Ironheart, or the granddaughter of Iron Man, as she would have been a big hero on Island and around the world to other islands like Hawaii and other places like that. As she would have been, well, the modern Iron Man, as she would have made herself big around society, her having a lot of interviews and actually starting up the new Avengers, the new Avengers, the new Avengers or the main Avengers in this society. Now they're the new Avengers, but the true Avengers in this society nowadays are collected by the children of the Avengers. But the grandchildren of the Avengers are the new Avengers. I think you guys understand. So the original Avengers, their children are the prime Avengers in this universe or in this timeline, at this present time. And their grandchildren, aka the grandchildren of the original Avengers or the children of the original Avengers kids, they are the new Avengers, aka the young Avengers. So they are the young Avengers, as the real Avengers, like the Avengers in today's society, in the My Hero Academia fanfiction of this what if, are the children of the Avengers. Like the redhead kid from, I can't remember, the new Avengers from the movie where they showed Black Panther's son, uh, uh, Black Widow and Captain America's son, Thor's daughter, things like stuff like that, right? Stuff like that, yeah. So basically, those children, those grandchildren, would have made the team of the Young Avengers, as these Young Avengers would have made a team fighting crime and making big statements around the world. As Melissa Shield would have seen this on the news and wanting to make an appointment with this new man, this new organization owner. He called himself Deku, as he was the owner of Ultron Corp. As she would have recognized that name, as she would have gotten suspicious about him, going into more detail and trying to figure out more about him. As we switch to Wakanda, as we get shown, well, the grandchild of Black Panther, as he would have been swinging around Wakanda, as he would have been stopped by his eldest sister, as she would have told him that it was time for him to come back to the castle, not the castle, but come back to the palace. As he would have said that he wasn't done yet, she said that we need to go now, as mother's calling for us. As he would have scoffed, saying, "Fine, I'm coming," as we get shown his personality. He's a kind, going, very bright-headed kid, as he's about the same age as Deku, as he's very much bright and bubbly, somewhat similar to Mina's attitude, but also has a type of calm and collected personality that, well, this child of Black Panther had in that one spin-off movie. As this would be, well, the grandchild of Black Panther, Jackson T'Challa, as he would have been a member of the Young Avengers, as he would have been training in that forest, as he would have been called to lunch to his mother. His mother would have been a mutant, as she would have been, well, a somewhat of summer powers of storm, as she would have tended to her son, as her son would have had a little bit of a scratch on his forehead, as he would have been swinging around the jungle a little bit too hard. As his powers would derive of the, well, natural body or natural essence of the panther, well, fruit, as he would have attained and actually inherit those powers, as it would have, well, been modified because of the mutant gene in his body from his grandmother being, or his mother being a mutant, So he would have had the Black Panther powers, plus the power to manipulate electricity, and also somewhat on a smaller level make small storms and tsunamis. But it would take a toll on him, as we would see that he would have been talking to his mother. His mother would have told him that he got a call earlier today by Melissa, as she was asking him for a meetup with the rest of the team. As we get switched to, well, New York City, as we would have seen that, well, Stars and Stripes, her being the granddaughter of Thor and Captain America, as she would have been, well, a product of Thor's daughter well, having a Thor's daughter marrying Captain America's son. So, put it simple, they had a baby, and then Stars and Stripes was born. As she would have been a big hero, kind of like the Captain America Thor, the main leader of the Young Avengers, and soon to be the leader of the New Avengers. As she would have been fighting some crime in New York City, going up against some sort of knockoff or copycat of Shocker, as she would have taken him out pretty quickly. As she would have looked up, as she would have gotten a call by one of her, team members, Jackson, as she would have gotten a call. As we switched to the the rainforest, as we would have seen that it would have been the granddaughter of She-Hulk, as she would have been training, not the granddaughter of Thor. I mean, not Thor, the granddaughter of Hulk. Jesus, the granddaughter of Hulk, the granddaughter of Hulk, as she would have been training in the rainforest, breaking some trees over, as she would have gotten a call, as everybody would have been called up, including the granddaughter of Spider-Man, as also the grandson of Hawkeye, and a bunch of others. I'll put a picture up here of their names on the side, and the picture of all of them and how they look. So yeah, and we would see that. Well, let's just dive right into it. As we see that they got called up into a arrangement. They were talking and they were conversating about what was going on in the news about this whole thing that was happening. And they're the few members of society in the day that knows about what happened to Ultron, because the majority of the society has been stripped of the knowledge, and the internet has been stripped away from any type of even remotely vague information on Ultron. The society and the government has kept this under wraps for a long time, and only a few members of the Avengers and children and members of the Avengers know about Ultron and know about what happened, and know about what their grandfathers and their grandparents had to go through. As we would see that, well, they would have been kind of biased and very biased towards this situation. As we're gonna leave it off here, guys. So part 2 will be a little bit more action packed, a little bit more of Deku. This was a little bit more on like politics and stuff, but part 3 will be a lot more about how the Avengers, these new Avengers, the young Avengers, would think about what was going on with Ultron, and basically a fight might break out, and maybe a little bit of a rivalry would have began, as part 3 will be a big jam-packed event. But I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and as always, guys, have a blessed day. Deuces.